Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today would be the 11th day on my journey on passing the Apex 300K challenge. If you're new to the channel, thank you for clicking. If you're not, thank you for sticking around. Basically, I created this channel for completely selfish reasons last year in the attempts to pass the FTMO challenge. And if you were here, you would have seen I passed that shit, right? We fucking completely dominated, right? It's easy to say it now. I went through a lot of psychology and a lot of issues. My grandma passed away. I was having a newborn. Life happened, but we passed, right? Fast forward to October. I started to fall off on these videos, and I didn't realize how helpful you guys are and how helpful this was to me. Like I knew it was, but I felt like I got this. I could do it myself. It was the holidays. And I was completely wrong, guys. Completely wrong. I fell into bad habits, revenge traded, lost my FTMOs. And then unfortunately the whole CFD crash, right? FTMOs not allowing any new US customers and yada yada yada. Fast forward to now, I'm a futures trader, right? Just sounds better, right? Futures trader. But whatever. So I'm max allocated with Top Step, and I purchased a 300K challenge, and we're currently up $10,000 on that challenge, right? So with Apex, it's great because you get to have 20 accounts, and my goal is to pass this one and then get some profits and then start layering into more accounts and building up my how would you call that? Like my prop balance, right? Like I'm trying to build my. It's a lot easier to increase, right, the amount that you trade with and decrease the risk than it is increasing risk, especially with these accounts, since the drawdown is goes up with your balance, right? Anyways, getting into the strategy, it's extremely simple. It's you're taking price from 12 a.m. to 8:30. Whatever happens. You're gonna mark out the high, you're gonna mark out the low, and you're just basically gonna wait for a market structure shift, right? The strategy is extremely simple. Last year, I had a much higher win rate, and I was getting a lot more setups. But this year, things are different. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but this year's market is not the same as last year, which is fine. I am still profitable, right? I am still right now. I'm somewhere around like a 53% win rate. If I would have started these challenges, let's say if I would have been funded last year and I would have started fresh in January, I would probably be up somewhere around the $30,000 mark if I was risking $1,000 to make $2,000. If I would have started these challenges in January, I would have passed them already, risking $1,000 to make $2,000, and I would be up $10,000 on per account if I had multiple accounts, which is still great money, right? So if you think about it, if you're able to pass, let's just say 5 accounts, right? 5 times 10 is $20,000, right? I'm sorry, 5 times 10 is $20,000. 5 times 10 is $50,000, right? So that's not too shabby, right? Take off the whatever it is, the 20%, right? And you're still left with a decent amount of change. So that's my goal. My goal is to be max allocated with all these future firms, right? And that's pretty much it. So we mark out the high, we mark out the low, and we're waiting for price to break out, right, of the high and the low and cause a market structure shift. And then to pull back, right, to the 61.8 and then hammer down to your take profit. In essence, that's what you're looking for, right? If you draw your fib from top to bottom, if you're looking for a sell, you'll notice that price reacts off of 61.8, and all you do is put a pending order and you set it and forget it, right? That's it. It's extremely simple. Sometimes it's too simple and I get frustrated. I come to the realization today is that we fuck shit up, right? We unfortunately cause a lot of the issues trading instead of sticking to a simple plan and letting the process take the course that it needs to take, right? unfortunately, when we rush things and we try to rush the process, we cause the process to take a longer time, right? And that's what's happened with me. So I'm back on my grind. I'm back here every day, and I'm gonna do these videos. So jumping into today's price action, I did not take a trade with this strategy because it just did not 100% pop up, and it is what it is. It does happen, and I'm trying to stick to my rules. So I enjoy trading, right? Like I want to sit there and I enjoy looking at price action and seeing if I'm right, as far as where price is gonna go. However, when I lose, obviously that's the hard part for me. Disconnecting, right? I'm really trying to disconnect from the fact that you know it affects me, or disconnect from the money issue. I don't know what it is. It's not the money issue. I have a really good job. Um, I do not need to do this, but I want to because it's freedom, right? I'm doing this for the sole purpose of becoming free. I want to be able to spend all the time with my wife and my kids, and be financially free. I am grateful for the job and opportunity I have in my life right now. However, if I could become a um, successful, I don't want to say successful, right? Because I've had success, consistent, right? I want to be consistent with my strategy, consistent with my trading, and not fall into, the unfortunate issues that I've had in the past. And I wanted to, I know it can happen. Like I look at my numbers, right? And it's easy to look at back testing results, but these were results that I forward tested as well. It's not like they're just back tested results. I took these trades. However, whenever I will lose, it's like, hey, no, let's try again. Sometimes, I would win, and sometimes I would lose even more. And then it's like, oh, well, I'll get in again. And then I end up, tanking accounts and making mistakes and whatever. It's making me take a longer process to get to the end goal, right? So I'm really doing this for one, because I enjoy it, but two, because I want that freedom. I want to be able to just take a trade, make my money, and that's it. Go about my day and enjoy life, enjoy my family. That's honestly my goal. I have a beautiful baby boy. He's 10 months old and in 3 days, and I want to be able to spend as much time as I can with him. And even though I have a great job, it does take a lot of time out of me, right? Going forward into price action, you're gonna notice that we take out the highs at this moment in time. On the 5 minute, yeah. I would look for where's my little lines? Here you go. I would look for this low to be closed below and then a pullback, right? Playing price forward, you're gonna notice that now it's gonna be this low because we took out this high. So this is the low that created the impulse to take out this buy side liquidity, right? Playing price forward, we get it. Unfortunately, I was trying to get in on this pullback. Now I would have, and thinking about it, I kind of should have, but it doesn't stick to my rules 100%. So I took my fib out, drew all the way down. I was like, wanted to pull the trigger on the 50% retracement. I've noticed that there's a lot of times where it does hit 50% and then just retraces, and at least you'll get like a 1-to-1 out of it. But I decided not to take the trade. I didn't want to take on any more risk. I did do it last week though. Like I didn't get in early. I took on more risk at the 0.764. Um, but today I was just not. Yeah, no, I wasn't feeling it. I didn't take the trade. So unfortunately, there was no entry for me. So I was looking for something like this and never got tagged into the trade. Right? As you can see, I never got tagged into the trade. Playing price forward, price just kept plummeting. If I would have gotten in, right, in hindsight, I would have hit my TP, and that was pretty much it. The full TP. it's something to look at. When I was trading CFDs, I had partial entries at the 0.50, 0.59, and 0.618. So I might go back to doing something like that. I'm not too sure. It's just it's something to think about. Maybe I just put in like a 0.5%, and then I'll split the other 0.5% between the other two positions. Right? So that's a something to think about. As far as at least I'll get into the trade. Anyways, food for thought. Playing price forward, price pulls back, price comes down, but we never, at this point, since we took out all these lows, I would look for a market structure shift, but it would be all the way up here, right? And that's too far up. So unfortunately, I never get tagged into a trade, and that's pretty much it. Now, there's S&T divergence, and that's where we're at. So, yeah, overall, the trade setup that I'm basing this challenge around, right, did not pop up. So, and there wasn't like before I would sit there and compare ES, right? What's going on ES with NQ to see if there is a market structure shift on ES, and we didn't get it as well. What we did get is some S&T divergence, and you could have taken that trade like here, but I wouldn't put my stops below. I would have kept my tight stops. I probably would have dropped down to the 1 minute and taken a look at if there was an inversion for a value gap, gone in on that and taken the trade. But I didn't take that trade whatsoever. One of the trades I was eyeing in the morning, and I took it on another eval that I have, but it's just an eval that I screw around with. And honestly, guys, I think I'm gonna stop doing that because I've noticed that those evals kind of mess with my psychology. You know, I don't know if it's the best thing for me to get in on those evals and then jump back to the strategy. I'm really thinking about probably just laying down the numbers and actually getting back on FX replay and just doing the hard work of seeing where, you know, seeing this year's, let's say, doing a whole back test for this year, starting January moving forward with SMT divergence, and see if it's profitable, right? Because I noticed that this week it's been pretty profitable. My whole idea is something like this, and if you guys want to take it and run with it, go for it. You know, we're all here sharing, learning, caring, and that's pretty much it. So the strategy in essence is the same, right? I'm looking for a breakout of the higher low between this range, right, on the minute. However, I'm only looking at price after 9:30. So if we're above, I'm looking for a sell. All right, so let's get to 9:30. And if I'm below, I'm looking for a buy. So here we're getting closer to 9:30. Play price forward. And here you have the 9:30 candle. Now, I took the close of this candle and I targeted 2 times risk. And I had a stop of 9 points. I just was back testing 9 points with the strategy, and it's just easy for. I set up an ATM, which is basically a Ninja Trader. You could set up specific stop loss and take profits. They call them strategies. And I set this one up because I was just noticed something with S&T divergence, and I wanted to just test it out and forward test it instead of doing the back testing, right? So I took this trade, and the reason being, I'm going to show you right now, is that here on the 1 minute, we're creating higher highs, right? If you look at the S&P on the 1 minute, we actually created a lower high, right? And a break of structure. So at this candle was this candle. We did not displace above, and the market tanked. So I decided to take the trade, and obviously we know that this trade was profitable because I was trying to get in on the pullback at the 50%. So I made full TP on this one with that strategy. Now, vice versa, if I'm looking for divergence, I'm looking for divergence under here to the buy side. So taking a look at price, let's see, where are we? Can't see it. It'll be here. We're looking for divergence there. Let's play price forward, see if we get any. Nope. No. I know the divergence eventually picks up. And you got to be really careful as far as consolidation and divergence, right? Like, it's lower than all of them. Yep. Because it could get a little tricky. You think it's divergence, it's really just consolidating, and then, you get stopped out. Let's see. This popped up SMT divergence. Where is that at? That is here. So yeah, this low is lower than all these lows, even though this looks like it's just straight consolidation. But let's just say for shits and giggles, you did take this trade and you marked it out, right? Because this is an obvious SMT divergence. And actually, this is not a bad trade because you have an inverse fair value gap right there. So if you're taking a look at this gap, it got inversed, right? You take your long position at the close of the gap, close the candle. Let's say you keep the same 9 risk. Do you get 2 reward? Almost. Almost. But that's still not a bad trade, right? You could have definitely taken the trade and just taken partials, or at least move to break even and see how the trade would have played out, right? So it's not a bad trade. Let's play price forward, see if there's any other entries, any other SMT. Is that another SMT? This one's lower than all the other ones. Yep. There's another SMT. Let's say you would have went in. Where's my long position? Long position. Close of the candle. Targeting 2 times risk. Do you get it? Yep, you got it. So it's something to look at, guys. And there's SMT divergence here as well, right? This created a higher high than a lower high, and here you have a higher high than a higher high, and then price obviously just dumped afterwards. As far as going against my bias, it all depends. It's honestly, when I back tested this week or noticed what was going on, I set up to take every entry with a stop loss of 9 points, take profit of 18, and I was definitely more profitable than not. So yeah, you guys go ahead and do your own back test and play around with it. It's something that I'm probably gonna sit there and just dive into with FX replay and see if it's sustainable long term. The strategy that I'm trading right now, I know, is at least I haven't had a bad month over the last 2 years, because even though I started the strategy last year, I had back tested the year before that, and they were both profitable years. I haven't had one month where I was negative. I've had weeks where I net negative, but not months. So there's some that were, I think 1 or 2 were break even, but most of them were in the profit. Anyways, that's it. That's it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I actually, helped some of you guys out. And if not, it's all good. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. And I will be back here tomorrow. Night, guys.